Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 524 based on novel. So let's start. Don't be complacent. The first move is just a test. Feeling the power that was not quite right in Xiao Yan's body, the Demon Realm Boundary Lord sneered, his credentials disappeared. Because the first move that Xiao Yan just performed, that one originated from one of the 9 dragon kings of the Dragon Clan, made it impossible to speculate on his innate power, and it was impossible to reenact it as his own move. After a while, a strange smile slowly poured out from the face of the Demon Realm World Lord. Such a strange smile makes one's mind instantly become uneasy, and those deep eyes are also filled with an unwarranted chaotic turbidity. The trembling, tingling sensation, the soul power of the Demon Realm Master is definitely not the great completion of the Immortal Ascension Realm. At least Xiao Yang's soul power is not enough to compete with the latter in the soul contest. It's really strong. Xiao Yan looked at the scene in front of him and did not hold back. All the power in his body instantly quieted down. The golden radiance of blood and blood, like a giant dragon that had been sleeping for countless years, began to emerge from the depths of his body. With the emergence of dragon blood, little by little it poured into the limbs and bones. Golden Dragon King Dragon Blood, Dragon God Transformation. Obviously, the power of the second move of the Demon Realm World Lord is too terrifying. Xiao Yan can only use the Dragon God transformation to resist. The void around the Demon Realm Boundary Lord suddenly collapsed and twisted, and a substantial rich green liquid slowly flowed out. At the moment when this pool of liquid appeared, there were bursts of whistling from the entire mountain peak, and even the face of the heavenly evil blood tiger was unconsciously distorted and became gloomy and cold. The demonic liquid appeared, and after a while, it turned into a palm of withered bones in its palm. In its tiny withered palm, there were actually 100 beasts rushing around, rushing towards the ground where Xiao Yang was standing like a thunderbolt. Blast away! The first transformation of the Dragon God transformation, Dragon Force Tempered Body. The second transformation of the Dragon God transformation, the Mighty Dragon. The third transformation of the Dragon God transformation, the Dragon Arm. Dragon God transformation. Fourth transformation, Half Dragon transformation. Dragon God transformation. Fifth transformation, Dragon God Claw. Dragon God transformation. Sixth transformation, Dragon God Fury. Bang! 6 ancient low-pitched roars resounded, and the green withered palms suddenly clashed with the golden dragon claws and the sound of the monstrous dragon roar. Quickly back away from here. On the top of the entire mountain, there were traces of cracks, and the harsh sound of rock tearing continued to emerge, and the attack power of the two was too huge. It's not over yet. Seeing Xiao Yang's tricks like this, the Demon Realm Boundary Master was heartbroken, and immediately let go of his withered palm. Hoo ho ho! The golden dragon claws and the golden dragon roar filled with ripples, and they were actually resisting the attack of the green withered palm. The dragon blood of the Golden Dragon King, the power of the 6 dragons, has made Xiao Yan close to a dragon king with a true dragon bloodline. Crack! The golden dragon claws and the dragon scales on his body were quietly shattered, but the moment the green withered palm disappeared, a faint green mark was engraved on Xiao Yang's arm. The terrifying anti-shock force instantly shook Xiao Yang out, and he stepped back dozens of steps in a row, looking at the Demon Realm Boundary Master with a change in his face. The power of this guy is too mysterious, and even if he drives the 6 transformations of the Dragon God with the power of the Golden Dragon King, he cannot defeat him head-on. During the 6th transformation of the Dragon God transformation, Xiao Yang could almost be said to be half the Golden Dragon King here. The strength and background of this Demon Realm Boundary Master is truly terrifying. 2018 novel. You actually have the aura of the Golden Dragon King? You got his true biography? After the blow was over, seeing Xiao Yang standing in the distance with a dignified expression, gasping for breath, the Demon Realm Boundary Master's eyes flowed, both startled and worried. Surprisingly, this guy has so much treasure and power. If he can be destroyed by himself, it will undoubtedly be excellent. The concern is that this guy is not only a descendant of the Xiao clan, but also obtained the true inheritance of the Golden Dragon King of the Dragon Clan. The Golden Dragon King, that is the strongest among the Dragon Clan. Whether it is the Golden Dragon King or the Xiao clan, he is far from being able to resist. The second move is over. If you admit defeat at this time, I will entertain you. After all, the attack of 70% of my power is not something you can resist now. At this time, the Demon Realm Boundary Master looked at Xiao Yang silently and took a step slowly. The second move has been passed, and I hope the seniors can enlighten me. Xiao Yang tried his best to calm down the ferocious dragon blood aura in his body, and some obscure divine objects of heaven and earth also began to rotate slowly. Xiao Yang knew that 70% of the power of the half-step eightfold reincarnation level, unless his strength reached the 7th level reincarnation level, it would be difficult for him to survive. For now, it's the only way to try it. Have blood and energy. Then see if you have the strength. The first two moves, the Demon Realm Boundary Master intentionally kept his hands in order to shake Xiao Yang back, but this guy doesn't seem to understand his painstaking efforts. For the power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, this last move, he won't have anything to do with it. Keep it up. Pub Future adds. As long as Xiao Yang's soul power is protected, he will not die. Boom. The dazzling green demonic energy was like the chaotic gas that opened up in the beginning of the world, and it was easy to completely drown its figure. Only a domineering voice of pride emerged. At this moment, feeling the dazzling demonic energy in front of him, Xiao Yang's heart beat suddenly, as if he was under some kind of unprecedented death threat. Holy flame! Congealing the holy pattern. At this moment, Xiao Yang's body burned with determination, and when his mind was closed, the whole picture of the center of the entire demon world was in his heart. Around him, 7 extremely sacred flames beat violently. 7 palm-sized holy patterns condensed and slowly circled in front of him. There seemed to be some kind of ancient thing in the center, which was gushing out little by little. Looking at the demon world boundary master who was bathed in green demonic energy in the distance, Kaylin and Tian Xieshui whose pupils shrank slightly, as if they felt some kind of destructive fluctuation. The green demonic energy was quietly rippling, and the demonic energy around the latter suddenly became more vigorous, and the entire mountain was crumbling. The void finally began to distort and collapse at this moment. It's over, brat. Hand of Chaos. An emerald green hand shadow that slowly gathered from the dazzling demonic energy was looming, and the latter's unruly murderous aura, in conjunction with this attack, faintly had a majestic potential to destroy the sky. Good come. God Punishment Ruler. 7 Pattern Punishment God. In an instant, seeing such an attack, Xiao Yang's eyes widened. Among the 7 sacred patterns, a huge ruler appeared dormant. The ruler moved quietly, and the space and void instantly shattered and disappeared. The World Lord's attack also condensed out. 2 thunderous roars resembling the wrath of the sky resounded through the entire mountain peak. The energy and roar that shook the world turned out to be transmitted to the hearts of countless powerhouses in the center of the demon world. The 2 attacks came out in an instant, and this solid mountain peak was suddenly emptied, as if it was instantly involved in the turbulent flow of space, humming and trembling. The top of the entire mountain suddenly swayed, and I saw an ancient heavy ruler sheltered by the 7-color flame pattern, attacking the demon world master. The golden radiant flame ruler suddenly appeared, and the latter's eyebrows slowly had a strange mark in the shape of an 8 gourd, which turned out to be releasing a domineering wave that was enough to resist Xiao Yang's attack. This power! For a time, Kaylin's heart couldn't help but tensed, and the demon-suppressing sword on the slender jade hand released a thrilling touch. The flickering mark on the eyebrows of the demon world master, the fluctuation in it is also one of the demon world tyrant. Mountain forests, rocks, dark cracks of hundreds of meters continued to emerge, and the entire mountain peak instantly turned into ruins. Countless destructive forces spread rapidly, and vaguely spread and tilted towards the center of the demon world in the distance. In this world, there are very few powerhouses who can force the world master to use his own power of primordial chaos and hegemony. This Xiao Yang's skills and talents are just like gods. He, the 7 holy flames, and the second-ranked divine weapon in the human world, the God Execution Ruler. It seems that the World Lord is also shriveled this time, even the hegemony weapon was used. At this moment, the entire center of the demon world was instantly turned upside down by the violent energy of this scene, and the powerhouses inhabiting the center of the demon world turned out to be murmuring at the same time. Between countless golden and green rays of light flashing, a thunderous sound of meteorites colliding from the sky completely tilted out, and the attacks released along the way even caused the whole world to fall into a terrifying deathly silence. Countless powerhouses resisted the apprehension and anxiety in their hearts, and their eyes kept staring at the center of the battle. If the attack energy of that level spreads into them, I am afraid that their fate will not be much better. At this time, the mysterious mountain where the 10-colored swallowing python was stored has been completely reduced to ruins. Where the 2 energies meet, the void and time are twisted together, giving everyone a creepy chill. However, the boulder, and even the hexagonal hole of the power of black energy lingering around it, floated in the void unscathed. It seems that the attack of these 2 people has no threat to it. The energy fluctuations gradually calmed down, but the two figures stood quietly in the center of the battle without any movement. At this moment, the outcome is decided. Who exactly won? At this moment, the powerhouses in the center of countless demon worlds in the distance were also shocked. Asshole. What is your relationship with the Golden Dragon King and the Holy King? After the attack was over, the blue veins burst out on the demon realm's arm. Seeing Xiao Yang, who was covered in blood, and even his breath was in a state of sluggishness, there was a ferocious roar on the demon realm's handsome face. The attack of Xiao Yang's level just now, if he hadn't urged the second master weapon in the demon world, the demon pot refining, which was branded between his eyebrows, he would have been seriously injured by his attack. And the weapon used in his hand is not really the divine weapon of the Holy King, the second divine weapon in the human world, the ruler of the gods. Both are my teachers. In Xiao Yang's eyes, with the last trace of strength, he murmured, but the large and small green rays of light above his body were like greedy ants, constantly nibbling away Xiao Yang's life, reincarnation. Holy flame power. Such an ant transformed by the power of the origin of the demon world master can actually ignore the sacred power of Sheng Yang and devour many powers in the latter's body. Is this something that Xiao Yang has never heard of? For the third move just now, if the demon world had used all its strength, I am afraid that Xiao Yang's fate would be self-evident. However, the latter is worthy of being a powerful demeanor. In the end, although he was on the verge of a crisis, he could only use his tyrannical weapon and Qi Cheng's power. So this time, Xiao Yang was lucky to win. Ebook bar. Crack. Hearing this scene, the fierce aura on the face of the Demon Realm World Lord completely calmed down after a struggle. If he loses, he loses. He, the dignified master of the center of the demon world, can never turn his face in front of this group of juniors, and what is happening here, I am afraid that it has already fallen into the eyes and ears of many strong people in the center of the demon world. Immediately, there was reluctance in the eyes of the Demon Realm World Lord, and then the speed skyrocketed, appearing beside Xiao Yang like a ghost, and a depressing aura like the sky and the earth falling emerged. What are you doing? The dignified Demon Realm Boundary Master actually doesn't believe what he says. Seeing the Demon Realm Boundary Master's actions, the 10 lines on Kaylin's eyebrows flickered, and the delicate body took the lead to come to Xiao Yang's side. Get out of the way, if you don't want him to die. Bang! The Demon Realm Boundary did not say much. The forces of chaos were like grains of sand. Those green ants slowly pushed out from Xiao Yang's skin and flesh and blood, and finally all of them were absorbed by the Demon Realm Boundary. After doing all this, the Demon Realm World Lord stretched out his hand and directly sent an extremely pure and domineering demonic energy into Xiao Yang's body, which relieved his scarred body and quickly healed the latter's scars. Thank you, Senior. At this moment, Xiao Yang was overjoyed. It seemed that the energy of the Demon Realm Boundary Master was rapidly healing his body that was riddled with holes. Although I don't know the body monster of the Monster World Master, but I think it is also a powerful monster related to the power of chaos. Chaos power. This is one of the mysterious and unpredictable powers in the world. And in the end, the bully weapon he used was either the first or the second. The strength of this guy was really terrifying. Are all the people of the Xiao family so perverted? Seeing the god-killing ruler floating quietly in midair, even without Xiao Yang's urging, the divine power of heaven and earth continued to tilt down from it. This artifact, combined with Xiao Yang's Fenju and the blessing of the 7 sacred marks, is enough to make Xiao Yang now qualified to fight at a higher level. Moreover, the power of the god-killing ruler just now made him realize Xiao Yang's extraordinariness. The descendants of the Xiao tribe, the Holy King, and the supporters of the Golden Dragon King, these 3 identities, just any one, are enough to be powerful. The agreement is over. The 10-color swallowing python is yours, so the entrance is yours. Although his face is a bit ugly, the Demon World Master still shook his head and said, if that's the case, then thank the World Lord. Hearing the latter speak like this, Xiao Yang's tense heartstrings slowly fell. These 3 moves may seem simple, but they are quite a burden to Xiao Yang. If something goes wrong, the situation will be even more difficult. But I have to remind you of a game. This entrance to the old place, since I took control of the center of the demon world, I have spent countless ways, but I can't open it. It's mysterious. In the center of the entire demon world, no one can detect and crack it. Seeing the faint smile on Xiao Yang's face, the demon realm's eyes changed and he looked at him with a smirk. This old fox. Xiao Yang's head was full of black lines just after the evil voice of the Demon Realm Boundary Master fell, but the matter had reached this point, and he had to try anyway. The entrance is here. If you haven't solved the mystery of the entrance in 3 days, I will come to pick you up and leave here. After all, this void still needs to be restructured by the Master to maintain the stability of this space. As soon as the Demon Realm Boundary Master finished speaking, he stretched out his white palm towards Xiao Yang, showing his goodwill. There seems to be some ancient power flowing on the babe-like palm, and there are several beast figures flowing, and the aura of the whole person becomes mysterious. Okay. Xiao Yang took a step forward, also stretched out his palm and held it tightly. The two looked at each other, and then quietly released. Then something in Xiao Yang's body suddenly released a strange fiery feeling, such a subtle fluctuation that even the Demon Realm Boundary Master himself did not notice. Wish you guys good luck. After the Demon World Boundary Master finished speaking, his body disappeared into the void, apparently returning to his own temple. Xiao Yang, what's going on? It was not until the Demon Realm Boundary Master completely disappeared in this space that Kaylin asked in a soft voice. Apparently, with some power in her body, she was also aware of the majestic power that had just suddenly rolled around in Xiao Yang's body. Fine. Xiao Yang hurriedly shook his head, but the movement just now seemed to be emanating from the two spirit orbs in his body. Could it be that there is a certain spirit orb on the body of the Demon World Master? That's the key to unlocking Paradise Lost. It seems that this trip to the Demon World, the harvest seems to be much better than expected. The entrance to the hometown of the 10-colored swallowing python is here, hurry up. After a while, the three of Xiao Yang approached the boulder together, squinting at the latter, trying to detect some clues to decipher the secret of the entrance. Although this space, the mountain peak, has already been turned into ruins by the two people's attack energy, but the space seems to be slowly healing and rebuilding, so it does not have much impact on the three of them. There doesn't seem to be any fluctuation of attribute energy in these pitch-black gases, just like the most common black mist. What's the mystery in it? But when you touch it, it's like a wisp of nothingness and cannot be touched. What is going on? At this moment, due to Xiao Yang's ability, facing the movement on this strange boulder, he felt helpless for a while. Boulders, pitch-black gas, hexagonal entrance. The heavenly evil blood tiger was also dazed, but Kaylin on the side was staring at the boulder with a dagger and low eyebrows, his lips and teeth slightly parted, and he kept repeating this sentence. Let me try. After a while, Kaylin stretched out his hand to hold the 10-color snake spirit in his palm, and then stimulated the power of the 10-color swallowing python in his body. In an instant, being so provoked by Kaylin, a vigilant and fierce aura was suddenly released from the snake eyes of the 10-color snake spirit, and the snake letter continued to stare at the boulder. Tear. The next moment, like lightning, the 10-colored snake spirit flashed out directly from the colored scale jade hand, swallowing the boulder in one bite. With the appearance of this scene, the three of them couldn't help looking at each other. Read the novel. Boom. Just when everyone was puzzled, the dazzling light of the snake spirit swept out, accompanied by a monstrous movement. A 10-colored light door suddenly spewed out of the snake mouth the size of the fist of the 10-color snake spirit, and it was quiet. Appeared in front of the three. Two adults, please. I will protect you here. Looking at this scene, although Tian Xieshui, who was hot in his heart, he could only speak like this. With his strength, he is not qualified to step into the 10-color swallowing python, the homeland. Go. The two looked at each other, and without hesitation, poured directly into it. 10-colored swallowing python. I didn't think that the power of the same source was needed to crack this entrance. I hate it. At the same time, after Xiao Yang and the others poured into the 10-colored light gate, the boulder returned to its original state again. Xiao Yang and Cai Lin had just poured into the Shikaiguang gate, and suddenly stepped on the edge of a cliff, as if they had entered a whole new world. This place is like a huge abyss world. Looking down, there are layers upon layers in the void, surrounded by countless colored rocks and crystal blocks, and the entire space actually sags little by little. At a glance, there is an endless abyss of hundreds of feet in front of you, and under the abyss, there are strange shapes and holes all around. A gust of gloomy wind continued to blow out from under the abyss, and the icy chill pierced the heartstrings. At the entrance of the huge hole, the dark and vicious aura rolled endlessly, as if some kind of evil was doing something wrong here, and there was a vague sense of fear. What a weird place. Is the 10-colored sky swallowing python really here? Just after entering here, looking at the flat area above the ground, and looking down at the abyss demon cave below, the holy flames and artifacts in Xiao Yang's body released a wave of unrest, as if there was some kind of appalling wave under the abyss. Ancient beasts. Today, the God Execution ruler still looks like a dark and heavy ruler. It is still carried by Xiao Yang on weekdays, or it is included in the Emperor Yang ring. Unless Xiao Yang activates the power of the divine weapon, no matter how you look at it, this will be the same as that. There is no difference in the usual heavy ruler. It is true that the power of blood is attracting and guiding me. At this time, the 10-color light on Kaylin's body became slightly brighter. In addition to the strange-looking 10-color snake spirit on the shoulders, a 10-meter-long 10-color swallowing python unexpectedly gushed out uncontrollably, hovering around Kaylin. Behind the scales. On the snake shadow, 10 colors are constantly flowing, and there is a vague aura of evil spirits emerging. The snake shadow and the snake spirit stared at the bottom of the abyss hole together. It seemed that the bottom was the real core, but the countless black chi in the abyss hole slowly released a puzzling aura. Not like an evil smell. This is the 10-colored demon snake cave. I always feel that the atmosphere here is not right. Be careful. At this time Kaylin's beautiful eyes were filled with an unprecedented worry. Judging from the strength of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python in the body, there is indeed the place where the 10-colored sky-swallowing python fell, but this space always gives Kaylin an inexplicable unease, and she can't tell the specific situation. Go. Xiao Yan was naturally aware of Kaylin's concerns, but he smiled faintly. He pulled the latter's arm with his big hand, and jumped straight into the abyss, heading towards the end of the abyss. Just when the two of them jumped into the abyss hole, a black shadow suddenly appeared on the ground of the calm hole. The shadow is full of evil, and the most important thing is that the shadow has no head. The whole figure is like a huge snake shadow. It is obviously just a shadow, but it can clearly see the shadow above the shadow. Snake scales, even the headless, illusory twisted, scarlet snake eyes. In the dim abyss hole, any luster and strength became weak and weak, as if they were not the home of the colorful swallowing python, but a strange abyss that could devour everything. Here, they can't use too much power at all. If they encounter some dangerous creatures, I am afraid that the situation between the two will be even more dangerous. At the moment of their descent, a terrifying sense of weightlessness kept their hearts in a very vigilant state. In the surrounding dark void, gloomy winds continued to surge, making the flow of power in the two people's bodies slow. This abyss hole is very large, and the soul perception, holy flame power, etc. have become impossible to use for a while. Xiao Yang held Kaylin Jade's hand, but his eyes were constantly looking around, alert for unexpected situations that might occur at any time. There seems to be something on the wall of this abyss hole. Kaylin was at a loss for a while, but the 10-colored snake spirit above his shoulders kept releasing a breath, guiding Kaylin. Go and see. Xiao Yang spoke softly and followed Kaylin towards the edge of the abyss hole. These things are all ancient patterns. The patterns are connected, and they seem to be telling us something. At the moment of descent, the murals above the surrounding holes did not move. Xiao Yang stared at the walls of the abyss hole. Snake, sacrifice, 10 colors. Cai Lin stayed with Xiao Yang the whole time. Mai kept looking at the murals and seemed to feel something. On the murals, there are some exclusive terms of the snake people, many of which are ancient snakes in strange states. These ancient snakes depicted on the murals are completely different in both body and demeanor. The only thing in common is that they each have a faint spot of light. There are a total of 10 snakes and beasts, which are exactly one-to-one correspondence, and now the power of the 10-color swallowing python on Kaylin's body. Could it be that the appearance of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, is it necessary to gather 10 ancient snakes and beasts? But in the world today, there are probably only 2 kinds of ancient snakes and beasts left. Lina, look at this last mural. There are no 10 snakes and beasts here. Instead, there is only a slap-sized colorful snake. Even though it is covered in scars, it is still fierce, and it seems to be in a life-and-death battle with some kind of creature. Hey, the mural is missing a piece. Who is the 10-colored sky-swallowing python at war with? The incomplete picture, so that the two people get quite limited information. These things should be related to the 10-colored sky-swallowing python. Xiao Yang, we'll reach the bottom of the abyss in a while, be careful. At this moment, Cai Lin could only say something to comfort her. It seemed that the homeland of the 10-colored swallowing python had faintly made her feel a sense of uneasiness. The source of the power of the 10-colored swallowing python in the body is naturally the world below, but why does his heart send out some dangerous signals strangely? Even the 10-color snake spirit is constantly pulling his arm, as if urging him to leave here. Yin Teeth bit his teeth. Whether it was for his own safety or to gain the power that was enough to help Xiao Yang, he had to go down here. Not long after breaking through the abyss hole, the two seemed to stand again in a strange void, and a scene of extremely dangerous cliff holes appeared at their feet. Xiao Yang and the two set foot on the void, and layers of dark aura completely isolated them from the strange world below. Although they could briefly remove the air and see the whole world below, They were unable to penetrate this layer of black air. Enchantment, enter below. The world below, just by looking at it, an uncomfortable horror quietly poured into my heart, because the world below is full of countless strange-shaped rocks, holes, and extreme desolation, and the whole world is like a giant python. Entrenched here. On the huge body of those giant pythons, there are countless large and small passages, and wisps of dark aura entangle them, and even the head of the giant stone-shaped giant python is actually 100 meters in size. Due to the strange dark atmosphere, the two of them couldn't see the whole picture of the demon snake cave below. The fluctuation of the bloodline is very strong, and the corpse of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python should be stored here. Stepping on the strange barrier made of black air, Kaylin said softly, "Go." At this moment, Xiao Yang's eyes couldn't help but become hot. Wei Zun Academy. As soon as the voice fell, the two bodies moved instantly, and then turned into two black shadows, trying to use the majestic power of reincarnation to directly break the enchantment and go towards the ground of the 10-colored demon snake cave. Bang! But what the two of them didn't expect was that no matter how powerful they displayed, the jet black barrier could easily eject its power, as if the power they exerted was like a baby's in front of the jet black barrier. Ridiculously powerful. Cannot penetrate, nor destroy. After some probing, Xiao Yang could only retreat, and the two of them stood there quietly. His eyes kept looking at the deep abyss hole above his head, and the strange world sheltered by the dark gas barrier below, and he was in a dilemma for a while. Boom! Suddenly there was a slightly bumpy black energy in the space, and it silently slashed towards Xiao Yang's throat. In the dark world, the failure of soul perception and other powers, coupled with the blocked sight, it is almost difficult to find this kind of strange attack. At the critical moment, Xiao Yang felt a chill behind his back, and a bent body almost subconsciously avoided this strange blow just now. Any other creatures? Guardian of the 10-colored demon snake cave? Damn, I should have thought of that. Xiao Yang cursed inwardly, and immediately went back to back with Kaylin, his eyes constantly circling the barrier at the bottom of the abyss hole. The kind of attack just now, even in his heyday, if he is secretly attacked, he will leave scars. The attack was too strange, and there was no way to defend it. If it wasn't for Xiao Yang's body's demonic power releasing a touch to remind Xiao Yang, I'm afraid that guy's attack would have occurred just now. Boom. After a while, the 10-color snake spirit that had been staying on the palm of Kaylin seemed to be provoked by some kind of breath, and the whole body swelled up instantly. The huge multicolored snake body twisted instantly and kept rolling in this void. Every time it twists, the 10-colored snake scales on the snake spirit quietly fall off in the void, twisting the void. In the blink of an eye, a dazzling crack appeared above the pitch-black barrier. Colored cracks. Breakthrough. After doing all this, the 10-colored snake spirit shrank back into Kaylin's hands, and lay weakly in his arms. Get out of here. Kaylin roared, and suddenly a beam of light burst out from the colored crack, directly locking in the void above the pitch-black barrier. Where there is a black shadow standing, shrouded in 10-color light, it seems to fall into a deep sleep for a moment. Magic snake. Kaylin looked at the black figure, which was somewhat similar to a snake figure, but had no head, exuding an evil intent. That's not right. This aura is the smell of an alien race. Xiao Yang's eyes narrowed slightly and he wondered. Do not look at his snake body, there seems to be a touch of milky white fire. At this moment, Kaylin's voice just fell, and the 7 holy flames that had already been swallowed in Xiao Yang's body trembled strangely. Even the 2 holy flames that were suppressed and sealed in the body by Xiao Yang were looking trembling at this moment. It was as if the milky white flame above the headless snakebody monster in front of them made them terrified. That kind of fear seems to be innate, originates from the soul, and has existed since the birth of the holy flame, and there is no way to resist it. This flame is also a holy flame. Kaylin looked at Xiao Yang, whose whole body was tensed as the holy flame power was instantly solidified, and her pretty face was already cold and serious. It goes without saying that even the power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python in Kaylin's body became violent in front of this milky white flame, as if there was some kind of rare hostility between the two. Kaylin, put out that fire for me, quick. At this moment, not only the 9 holy flames, but also the countless powers in the body, such as the burning dew, the power of the devil, and the ruler of the gods, became trembling and violent at the same time when facing this faint milky white flame. Even if it was a flame that could be extinguished by just twisting it at will, at this moment, it actually caused such a terrifying coercion to Xiao Yang. Where is this sacred 10-color swallowing power? Kaylin snorted coldly, and the majestic 10-color snake scales spread all over the body, like a 100-jong monster beast covering the sky and covering the sun, whistling in unison, surrounded by the headless snake shadow. In an instant, the power of 10 colors suddenly shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye, twisting a little bit, swallowing the strange flames on the headless snake shadow. Breakthrough. The appearance of Shutsai swallowing heaven instantly made the milky white flame above the headless snake shadow completely extinguished, and then the headless snake shadow instantly solidified in place. Hoo-hoo. The milky white flame was extinguished, and Xiao Yang's body regained control just now, but the sweat on his forehead was still dripping continuously, and the beating speed of his heart was unprecedentedly violent. What happened? After solving this scene, Kaylin hurriedly returned to Xiao Yang's side. In order to stabilize the aura in his body, Yuko opened his mouth lightly and asked anxiously, "I don't know. That milky white flame seems to override all the power in my body. When I just watched, all the power in my body seemed to be called by some kind of call, and there was a vague intention to break out of my body and try to compete with it. As if these powers in my body are some kind of enemy from the past." Xiao Yang watched the headless snake figure in front of him while recovering the condition in his body. This guy is like a dead thing, there is no life all over his body, but the aura on his body is somewhat similar to the fluctuations of foreign evil races, but this evil power seems to be more strange and evil than the evil power he has encountered before. Sex, or even has a faint aura that belongs to the powerhouse at the center of the human world. The milky white flame, the breath of the evil races outside the realm, and the breath of the center of the human world, there seems to be some kind of mysterious connection between the three, which made Xiao Yang's heart suddenly vigilant, and he kept thinking about something. Go down first. Cai Lin shook his head slightly, and then stretched out his wrist like suet and white jade, with 9-color snake patterns surging on his wrist. Obviously, the latter already knew the way to open the enchantment under the guidance of the 10-color snake spirit. As soon as Kaylin's voice fell, the majestic power waved, and a huge shadow fell from the sky. The power of 9 colors combined with the tail of the colorful energy, like a magnificent aura that turned mountains and seas, and slaughtered away at the pitch-black barrier. In a few breaths, the terrifying sound of the void buzzing and exploding actually smashed the pitch-black barrier out a nearly 100-jong hole. Love 999 novel. Being hit by the energy snake shadow of the colored scales and 9-colored swallowing pythons, even some 4 or 5 level reincarnation level powerhouses will be seriously injured on the spot. The void swayed, and countless rocks actually turned into powder under this huge pressure, floating in the void at will, but in the world below, the giant snakes transformed by the rocks seem to be touched, and the deep and hollow snake eyes among them, there seems to be a faint light flickering. Go. Xiao Yang said in a deep voice, and suddenly the 2 figures moved, completely submerging into it. At the moment when the 2 disappeared, the headless snake shadow standing on top of the pitch-black barrier completely disappeared like a wisp of black air. But at the moment of disappearance, there were 3 obscure signs of heaven, earth, and man in the body. The handwriting came out, extremely mysterious. The 2 had just arrived at the ground of the 10-colored demon snake cave, and a sense of desolation poured into their hearts. This void was too quiet and strange, and the vagueness made them feel a little uneasy. When the whole world of the 10-colored devil snake cave fell into a dead silence, some of the huge rock pythons in the snake cave slowly cradled their huge bodies and came to life in an instant. A dazzling luster burst out from its rock python, and a shocking wave suddenly emerged. With the surging of this body, several rock pythons around it seemed to be summoned, and they came to life together, twisting their huge body, constantly circling and spinning on the ground, surrounding Xiao Yang and the 2 of them. The power of holy flame. Xiao Yang was shocked. The sacred holy flame burst out like a scorching sun, but no matter how powerful Xiao Yang was, when he hit those rock pythons, he would open his huge mouth and easily swallow them away. For a time, on the rock-like snake bodies of the 9 rock pythons, slices of ancient and demonic snake scales quietly emerged, as if they were releasing some kind of breath, and those breaths contained the power of swallowing the sky, and they were slowly absorbing the sky. Devouring the endless vitality in Xiao Yang's body. 9 swallowing pythons. It is still a sky-swallowing stone python from 1 color to 9 colors. 1 color, 2 colors, 9 colors. Why not 10 colors? The surrounding rock pythons shook their bodies, crawling stiffly, and surrounded Xiao Yang and the 2 figures, and they kept sending out a terrifying low-pitched roar that rippled their souls, and finally the power of 9 colors roared out. Trying to launch the most powerful attack against Xiao Yang and the 2. Hoo-hoo. At this moment, Cai Lin seemed to be aware of it, and the tenderness in her eyes disappeared instantly. In front of Xiao Yang, she is actually more willing to act as a docile person, but now she is deeply trapped in such a Jedi, the blood of the royal family of Medusa and the power of 10 colors in her body make this glamorous Medu Queen Xiao once again restored her former queen style. A bit of icy, piercing cold eyes began to appear in his eyes without any fluctuation. He glanced at the 9 rock pythons in front of him, indifferent and majestic, as if the supreme king was watching the tiny life, contempt. The eyes glowing with colorful rays glanced over, and the body of the 9 rock pythons began to jump strangely, and even the breath became disordered. That is a touch of absolute suppression from the blood. For a time, the ancient Jedi formation composed of 9 sky-devouring pythons seemed to be suppressed by some kind of fatal threat, and stopped turning instantly. The beautiful eyes turned again. When looking at the man with a heavy foot next to him, there was a hint of determination on the enchanting icy cheeks, and then his lips and teeth opened slightly, and a charming silent tone resounded through this. Peace of heaven and earth. The royal family of the Medusa family, the descendants of the 9-colored swallowing python, came here to pay their respects to the ancestor. This video will end here.